morning, everybody. Hey, thanks for kicking it with me again today. We are heading to my mother's house. She let me know yesterday that one of the toilets in her house is just running. It's not stopping. So we're gonna head down there and put in a new float valve system in there so that can stop running and they can use that restroom. So thanks for joining me, and we'll get right to it. Wanted to show you something kind of cool on my drive to my mother's house. This road that's right here, this dirt road that I'm showing you next to this canal, is actually the road that, if you remember the original Footloose, and they have that chicken fight on those tractors, that is the road where that took place. It was just a little bit further. You turn around that bend that's right up there to the right, and you go down that road a little bit, and it's kind of a little bit more up to the right there is where that tractor fight, or that tractor chicken fight, actually happened. All right, everybody, got the camera all set up in the right spot. So here we are in the little bathroom here that we need to take this system out of here and replace it with this new one. So shouldn't be too hard of a project, but let's get going on it. Water's already turned off down here at the base. So I think at this point, I've already drained the water out of the tank. There's just a little bit left at the bottom, but I've got a little bowl down here that I can capture it with. Ooh, that's not gonna want to turn by hand. So let me get this. That is tight. Let's see, there's two things down here that I need to worry about. One of them is what it tightens up around this float valve that's already in here, and then there's one that goes to the water line that's got to be loosened. I don't have to worry about this one that's in here because it's coming out. Okay, that is loose. We're starting to get water. This is such a tight area. What I like to do is get this off completely, and then get the bowl in here because I can't get it in. There we go. Got a little bit of water on the ground, but not too bad. We'll just capture it in this bowl. Wish I could put you over here so you could see a little bit better, but not enough space for all of us. Not too much. If I can get this other nut off of here, off the bottom of what's holding this float valve in here. I need more hands. There we go. It's loosening up. Oh. Because there's a nut on the bottom of this that just tightens it up to the bowl and puts the washer against or the rubber gasket against the bottom of the bowl so it doesn't leak. And it's just a plastic fitting, and it is not easy to grab. It doesn't have anything on it to, like wing nuts or anything like that on it to grab onto. And holding this water pan, I can't set the water pan on the ground because dump it down the sink here. But I can't put that on the ground because the water line's in the way. So just keep turning this. Well, that's a little easy if I hold on to the nut and turn this. Instead of trying to turn that nut that doesn't have anything to grab onto, it just has little teeny fins on it that are gouging my fingers. But I am getting water all over the floor from what's left. There we go. You can see that it doesn't have much to grab onto there. But this is miserable trying to catch that water. But yeah, trying to turn that is difficult. Anyway, so that is off, so this should come right out. There it is. So you can see how that works in the toilet here. That has this rubber gasket at the bottom. That goes in the hole right there, and then that plastic nut that I just had right here screwed on the bottom like that, and then the base of this toilet is in between it, so it just holds it tight. And as the water fills up, that goes up, shuts it off, and then when you flush the toilet, that goes down because the water level in here goes down. So this float goes down, opens up the valve, and the water goes through the toilet. This is in there, and it squirts water back in, and it fills this tank back up. As it comes up, it goes up, shuts the water off. That's how a toilet works. But this is not shutting off anymore. Something's wrong with this. There's also that we're going to replace this flapper. And this flapper valve goes at the very bottom of the toilet. That's what lets the water go into the bowl. And this one's very soft. The one that's in there is hard, and the water keeps running there as well. So it is time to definitely replace this valve. Okay, so we can take this flapper off of here as well right now. And hopefully the new one will just go right back on here. Here we go. So you can see here. This one's really hard. That's hardened. So if we can take this off. So we'll take the old one off. The new one comes with the new chain and everything. So we'll put that in there. All right, that is the complete disassembly. And time to put the new one in. Got this one just off of Amazon. So this one, see how soft that is? Look how it compares. You can see how hard that is, and this is just really soft. So no wonder it's not sealing. This one, you can see how easily that bends and everything. This one is hard and rigid versus this. So, okay. So we have that. Let's go ahead and put this in here. We need the, oh, we're good. This one, you can see right here that this plastic nut on the bottom of this has some, at least something to grab onto right here. It's gonna make it a lot easier. We'll stick it on here and screw that in. Maybe I'll stick this while I've got it out here. It's easier out here than, better out than in. That's right, that's what Shrek said. I'm gonna put this on right here, right now, because it'll be easier. This hose that I'm putting on here, this one is the water fill. It has an adjustment right here for how fast you want it to fill, but the water will come, it comes out the bottom right here and fills up the tank, as well as it fills up this tank, and then this one comes over and goes down a little tube that's in there that goes into here. In fact, let me show you really quick what we're looking at inside of here. I'll take you off of the mount here. Inside of here. So right here is where this new valve is going to go. Right here goes right into the toilet. That's where the water from here goes into there. And this right here is where that tube I just put on, that tube is going to go down there. And that supplies water into your toilet as well. You'll see it going down the sides. Anyway, that's what that looks like in there. When you flush, all it does is move that arm and it lifts up the flapper valve there at the bottom. That reddish flapper valve plugs that hole right there and keeps water from going down it. All right, and this is what there's the water line down here. Okay, let me stick you back on here. All right, so let's put this in the hole here. I don't know how high this is adjustable. That's probably going to be about right. This is adjustable, this neck. You can slide this collar up on this particular model, and this will slide down, make it taller for a tank maybe that has more. You can screw it too like this. Okay. We'll put that collar back on. So let's stick that back in there. We'll put this. And if we need to adjust the height of it after this project is done, once we get the water back in it, we can do it at that point. So now, blindly, because I can't see under there, screw this valve on there. Oh, nice and smooth though. I like new stuff. Tighten that in there. It's gonna be nice. I'll give it a little bit more in a minute. So I don't know that I'm gonna need this to hold that, just because this is a really small toilet. This is that black tube can go on there, then this would go on that pipe that was sticking up, and it goes like this, and then it squirts water out of there. And I guess I could, I mean, it's designed for it, but sometimes it's not as convenient. But let's try it just to see. And we could probably cut this off too if we needed to. So see, I put that black tube on there. And then clip that on. Guess that'll work. Nothing wrong with it, so we'll do that since it's designed to have it. Okay, now it's time to put this rubber stopper back in here. It's got to undo this chain. So this chain hooks to the lever, this black, the plastic thing, it hooks to that lever, and this flapper's in there covering that hole, and it pulls it up. And that's all it does. When that comes up, water flushes, and then that goes back down and falls in the, plugs that hole in the bottom, and lets the tank fill back up. So let's stick this on here. Perfect. Okay, and I'll put this chain back on. Doesn't quite lift it high enough, so I need to shorten the chain. So the way that I'm going to do that is this. I can just put in another link in here. So I'll put this on that chain a little bit further down. I want it to really pull it up. When it comes up. So let's see what that does. So I've just moved it in in the links further up so that the chain is shorter. Nice. That should work. Okay. We'll give that a try. Now, time to hook the water line back up down here. And that's just a matter of screwing it on here. That's not screwing it up because that's what I do quite often. This is screwing it on. And hopefully not screwing it up. Okay. I'll use these. It has a rubber gasket in there, and if it has things that have rubber gaskets, you don't really want to use too much torque on them because you don't want to ruin that gasket. But I like to do it by hand as much as I can at about half a turn, and that usually is all you need. So let's check it out. If I turn this water line on now, you'll hear it come on here. Yeah, so let me show you this. So when I turn the water line on down here, some of these you'll find are like a half turn where you only have to turn them halfway and it'll open it up fully. This one's not, and it's kind of old. You have to turn it a lot. You can still buy them like that. I like the half turns. So as I turn the water on, you'll see it coming in the bottom. And it'll start to fill. So you can see the water coming in right here. And it's going in. So you'll see a little bit of movement in there. See that water rippling a little bit? Because it's putting a little bit of water down that tube. But it's filling up the tank, and you'll see when it gets this float right here, this black float, will start to come up and turn off. This knob gives us a little bit of adjustment besides just the whole up and down of the whole unit. But let's watch here. Let's give it a little bit more water here. We'll let it go full. Okay, it's starting to rise, and it just shut off right there. So that looks like it might be a little low from where it was. Let's flush it and see. See, and then that flapper goes down, starts to fill up again. So I don't see anything. I can see where the old water line was, which is this ring that's around here, but it doesn't necessarily say water fill. So we might be about where we want to be. I might go a little bit more water. Seems like that flushed okay like that. And I'll turn this down so it's not as noisy. You can hear that water. This seems to be pretty good. I did make a little bit of a water mess down here. It's just a tight area. Okay, I think it's about there. You'll see this float up right here when it shuts off. Coming up. And off. So if I turn this, it has a plus and a minus. I don't know. Plus maybe gives a little bit more. We'll do. That's all the way plus. So let's see how much more that gives us. Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's flush one more time. As I push this, pulls that chain, opens up that flapper, and it flushes and shuts off. And it wasn't making any noise. It was holding. And I don't think we have any leaks. I can't feel any leaks under there. So we'll call this one a success. I love a good win. All right. So that'll fill up. Let's turn this down a little bit so it's not so noisy. That's a little quieter. It'll just fill up a little bit slower, but that's not a big deal. And that's pretty good. Let's get this put back together. So first thing we need to do to clean up this mess is put this lid back on here, and it should quiet up quite a bit. Yeah, that's nice. These parts right here can all just be thrown away. There's nothing good about any of that. And that was the only tool we needed, and we really didn't even need that if you had vice grip fingers. You could just do it down there. And I do need to get a towel to clean up. Well, we've got toilet paper. What else is toilet paper for? Well, it can absorb things. Let's put it that way. So I'll clean up some of this water down here. We'll throw that away. Get a little bit more. Probably not the most useful thing for toilet paper. Paper towels, I think, absorb a lot better, but there's not much water here, but there is some. So we'll soak that up, throw that away, and one more. All right. It's one of the important things about a job is clean it up. It's no good to get it done and then leave it. One more flush. Okay, let's call this one done. Thanks for joining me today. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll kick it again another time.